everyone, I'm Dr. Lauren Kruger. Welcome to the Speedy Vegan Kitchen Test Kitchen. Today I'm going to be making some healthy vegan meatball subs. So my meatballs are made with black beans, mushrooms, and walnuts, which means they're super savory, delicious. They have that nice meaty texture. And for the sub, they're slathered in marinara sauce and basically sandwiched between two pieces of gluten-free garlic bread. Obviously, you can use regular bread if you're not gluten-free, but you know, just making those gluten-free friends of mine happy. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to need are some crumbled mushrooms. I already have mine sliced. And you're going to slice up about 1.5 cups of crumbled mushrooms, nice and thin, just like this. And you're going to throw them into a pan on medium heat to cook. I'm also going to add a teaspoon of basil, some great measuring, and a teaspoon of oregano. Because I'm cooking oil-free, I'll probably have to add some water to the pot to prevent them from sticking. If you want to add a bit of oil as well, that's totally fine. You do you. I just like to not use too much processed oil in my diet and get my oils from healthy, whole food sources of fat. So these guys are just going to cook down for about 7 minutes. While they're cooking, preheat your oven to 410 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so now I'm going to make my bean balls. So these guys have a black bean base because I was really looking for that meaty texture, and I really like black bean and tomato as a combination. So use 2 cups of black bean or a can of black beans. Make sure you rinse them and drain out all the fluids first. I'm also going to add a 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast. This is basically cheesy flavored stuff that you can find in usually the organic aisles of grocery stores. So I'm adding a 1/4 cup of that. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of walnuts. Walnuts are great because they're filled with healthy fats like omega-3s, and they're also going to help contribute to that earthy kind of meaty flavor that we're going for. They add a nice little bit of texture to the meatballs too. Finally, I'm going to add some freshly ground pepper and about a 1/2 teaspoon of tamari. So next we're going to add in our mushrooms, and that's going to help the whole thing blend more nicely. So my mushrooms have been cooking. They're looking nice and wilted and translucent, and these guys are really going to give you that nice umami kind of meaty flavor that you're looking for in a meatball. These guys are really kind of something to sink your teeth into. So I'm just gonna throw these in here. So here's everything in your blender: your yeast, your beans, your shrooms, your walnuts. Now you just blend and that's it. So there's gonna be some really loud noises for a second. On the sides once or twice just to get everything nicely incorporated so that you get some nice smooth meatballs. I do like a couple little chunks, but you don't want anything too big in there. So this is actually a brand new blender, and the blade is super sharp. I cut myself so badly washing it the other day, so you know, be careful with blenders. So should be looking nice and smooth for you guys. If there's a couple little chunks, don't worry about it. Those guys just add some nice texture. So now I'm just going to throw this into a bowl, and then I'm going to add my cornmeal. So the cornmeal I used in this recipe because it gives the meatballs a bit of a firmer texture. They will be a little drier, but it means they'll also soak up the sauce a lot better. You might be able to add your cornmeal directly to the blender, but if not, just throw it in a bowl like I'm doing and then mix it in by hand like a peasant. If you don't have a blender or a food processor, you could also do this entire recipe by hand. Just mash it. It obviously won't be as smooth, but it still tastes pretty good. So that's another option for you guys as well. And I'm just going to add the 1/2 cup of cornmeal, or the rest of my 1/2 cup of cornmeal, and just mix that in until it's all well incorporated. So basically what you have now should look kind of like cement, and it should be like pretty sticky. Quite sticky, right? Almost to the point where you do that McFlurry test. Look, it's pretty sticky here. So that's the consistency you guys should be aiming for. If it's not this sticky, add a bit more cornmeal. It's probably too wet. If it's, I don't know, crumbling and really falling apart, it's probably too dry. Just add a bit of water. And basically I'm just gonna use this little tablespoon and scoop them out like I would cookies. So I say cookies, my dog's sitting right here, I say cookies like I'm talking to my dog. And I just fling them like that, like just give them a gentle little fling, they come out real nice. Yeah, and I'm just making nice rounded tablespoons and fling. And you're probably gonna get like, I don't know, 15 or so, somewhere between 12 and 15 meatballs out of this mixture is typically what happens. Oh yeah, that was a good one, it's very satisfying. If the fling technique isn't working for you, then just like grab a spoon and scoop it out like a normal person. Obviously. So it's gonna be 16. Will be my total for the day, so 16. So basically 1 serving of meatballs is going to be, like half a cup of beans is going to be 4 of these. But these are our meatballs and they're going to go in the oven for 12 minutes to bake. You can rotate them halfway through at 6 minutes if you want, or you can just leave them and form them a little round at the end with your hands, which is what I tend to do because I'm lazy. So throw them in the oven, bake them for 12 minutes. While those guys are baking, we're going to be making our garlic bread. So I've got a nice little gluten-free ciabatta bun, and they actually taste really good. This is probably like some of the best gluten-free bread I've ever had. I posted the link in the blog post. You can go check that out if you're gluten-free. And I'm like 99% sure that they're vegan. Like they say lactose-free, they say suitable for vegetarians, and there's nothing in the ingredients list that looks unvegan to me. So I'm pretty sure they're vegan. If they're not, please let me know in the comments and I'll amend the recipe, but I'm pretty sure they are. So just cut this guy in half. Obviously you want as many as there are people. It's just me and the dog tonight, so I'm just making one. So cut it in half nicely like that. And then we're going to basically baste it in our garlic mixture. So my garlic mixture is about 3 or 4 tablespoons of olive oil, mixed with a finely minced clove of garlic. You can also use garlic powder if you're feeling more lazy, but I like the fresh garlic. It's healthy, it has a pungent taste. And I'm just gonna use a baster brush, get it nicely coated in my garlic oil, and just brush her on like so. And same on this side. And that's it, that's your garlic bread. And then just broil it for like a minute or two. Be really careful. So many times I've burned this and it just sucks. So just watch it. So these are my little garlic toasts. They're all toasted up, you can see. I've got some tomato sauce. This is just store-bought tomato sauce. Buy your favorite one. Usually I'm probably only gonna fit about 3 on this tiny little piece of bread. And I'm just gonna grab a plate. You'll notice I filled half the plate with salad. I did say it was a healthy recipe, so here is my half plate of vegetables, that half serving of greens. I just made like a spinach, walnut, and strawberry salad. You can make whatever you want. A vegan Caesar would go great with this as well. And then I'm gonna like add a generous amount of this marinara sauce here. Just like, don't be shy with the sauce. And then I'm gonna add a nice little sprinkle of vegan cheese. I'm gonna probably pop this guy back in the oven. It's still on broil just to give the cheese a little melt. Alright, so here's my little ciabatta bun, straight from the oven. My cheese is all nice and melty. It looks super delicious. And then you're just gonna pop this other guy on top. And that there is your healthy vegan meatball sub.